That's the question. I'm not going to go for the whole team. Because if I go for the whole team, we could be here until, well, perhaps not till Christmas because there's very few options. But we'll go front four because that's the most important four, I think, because question marks over Bene, Clark in the early games. Who do you play as a 10? So, Tux, kick us off. Who's your front four and why for this Sunday?
Again, probably a bit controversial, but I think I'll probably stick with the four that we had at Birmingham because ultimately these players need games. And I think at the moment, they're probably our best available options at the moment. Obviously, Amari's not about. Broadhead's probably going to be off. So, you know, I don't know what's happening with Philogene at the moment, but I think, you know, that's at the moment. I mean, you could potentially take Chaplin in instead of Shimodix, but again, for me, I was talking to someone else about this, that Chaplin and Shimodix at the moment are seen as the 10s this year, but Shimodix hasn't really played all that much as a 10 for us in his time with the club. And I know he's been injured and all that sort of stuff, but when he's been available, he hasn't really played as that 10. And I've always wanted to see him more as a 10 for us. So if he gets a regular opportunity to do that, you know, you've seen what he's done for Blackburn. You know, you see what a threat he is at this level. So for me, I'll just be kind of sticking with what we've got at the moment. And, you know, some of the issues that we had at Birmingham is because, you know, Ogbene's not, you know, 100% match fit, is he? So he's only going to get match fit if you play him. Clark needs to have games in and out of the team last year.
Yeah.
I've just mentioned Shimodix, and obviously Hurst is going to be the main striker moving forward anyway. So for me, yeah, it's got to be that sort of stick with what you had at Birmingham, I suppose.
Which is, you've kind of got to, because as Joe says, there's not many options, and only got the choice of 4 from 5. Hurst, Sammy, Chaplin, Ogbene, Clark, that's your lot, isn't it? And that's kind of why I highlight this, Matt, because you're facing, in the first 2 games of the season, who will consider as promotion rivals. Now, no season is won and lost in August. That just does not happen. But at the weekend, we saw Southampton bringing on a whole host of different options as they chased the game, as they were pressing to get back into the game at home to Wrexham. They brought on so many. It felt like they brought on about 20 strikers in pursuit of that goal. We're struggling here to try and change the front four with options. Now, the squad's not ready. The season started. No leagues won in August. But Matt, that's why I'm kind of highlighting it, because you're probably going to go for the same sort of 4 as Tux. Or if you don't, there's only one change. But who's going to change it from the bench if we need it?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? And I don't know why the performances. I don't know why the Birmingham City performance was so flat for the majority of the game, and it was pretty flat last night. Given that we've come on this show and said the 4 pre-season games, whatever it was, played very well in. I was very optimistic. We were scoring goals. We looked good moving forward. We passed the ball nicely. There was a good tempo for these pre-season games. Certainly in the Aberdeen one, which I thought was one of the standout performances, and going into against Auxerre as well. And I thought, and I said on the show the Sunday, wherever it was mine, I thought we'd replicate the Auxerre game at Bromley last night and probably come out to 3-0 winners. That's kind of how I envisaged it going. Obviously, it hasn't happened like that. I still think like people are overreacting a little bit, and the fact that we didn't play well at Birmingham but still got the point, which is why all the Birmingham City fans have been coming onto our YouTube comments with the bleeding ump, because we've stolen the point with a dodgy pen right at the end. So they'll just have to get over that. That's done and dusted, as we've now got to get over losing to Bromley on penalties. I would make a very good point there, Tux. Where is Philogene? Because he went off against Auxerre, having just mentioned him just now. And a lot of people, if social media are to be believed, that was his season was gone. And McKenna said it wasn't too bad. And, you know, we feel like he's on the periphery of getting back in the side. But when is that going to be? I've not seen the club say that, and I've not seen the local media ask that question or report it. And we haven't got the luxury to be able to ask them that.
The only thing that I've seen is
the conversation is Tux.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen regarding Philogene was that his injury isn't as bad as it was first feared. So I don't know what that means. That's all I've heard really from TWTD. So yeah.
So who knows? So I would like to play Jaden in one of these flanks, probably the right hand side, on Sunday if he was available. If not, I would probably play Ogbene. And I don't want to be too harsh on Ogbene really, because he's not really played any football, has he, since October, November? That's a long time to be out. Even he probably didn't kick a ball for 6 months or whatever that was. But he hasn't looked great shakes, and he's still a bit of an unknown quantity to us because he got injured so early on after buying him from Luton. At the moment, he doesn't look an £8 million player to me. He had a nice little flash of brilliance last night. Got the cross in for the Chaplin shot that rebounds out for Johnson to score. That was really good. Let's see some more of that. If he's to play on Sunday, then so be it. But my preference would be Jayden. I would put Chaplin in the middle. Captain last night, played quite well, as I just said. Really good control, I think, with the chest or his knee and the volley. It was a good save from the keeper.
Really good.
Johnson to score. So that was good. Had lots of chances, Chaplin, last night. Probably should have put one of them away. But there we go, he didn't. And I would probably put Smodics on the left, given us what Tux was saying there. I mean, look, everyone keeps sleeping on the fact that 2 seasons ago he was a championship top scorer. A lot of those goals was coming in from the left-hand side, centrally into the box to score. So I think he can do that, and obviously support Hurst as the 9. I said in the last show, I was 100% confident Hurst would score against Birmingham. For some reason, I wasn't confident when he hit the ball last night, and neither was he, because it was nothing like all the other penalties we've seen in pre-season or in other seasons, or what we saw on Friday night at Birmingham, in a far more pressure environment as well, which was weird. But and I think maybe Akpom hopefully will be available from the bench. But again, we don't really know what kind of pre-season he's had. Has he been right through the mix of blacks? I don't know. No idea.
Do you think we'll see any minutes from Akpom this Sunday, Matt?
I'd like to think so. I hope so. I mean, the supporters at the moment need a shot in the arm, and I think probably bringing someone on like Akpom, who like Smodics has done it, nearly 30 goals from him with Borough, sort of 3 seasons ago. Might just give us that shot in the arm, but we'll see. I think it's too early for him to start. I mean, but who knows? But we don't know where he is in his pre-season. We don't know what his fitness is like. We don't know what his stamina is like. Again, these are questions. These are basic questions the fans should know about.
10, 15 minutes?
Maybe.
I mean, you can't be surely 10. That's not a massive leap. And I see Joe Tux, and I'll ask you the same question, but in terms of Jens Karius, do you think we'll see any minutes out of him on Sunday? And Joe says McKenna never just throws in these players just like that. We won't be seeing Karius or Akpom starting until October, which I would question that and say, are we really calling Jens Karius a new player? I mean, that's a technicality, is it not? Because he was here literally 7 weeks ago. What if I looked at my calendar while Tux tells me we'll see any minutes? I could probably count between 7 to 9 weeks. We were talking about a Premier League game where he would be starting. So, I mean, yes, he's a new player, Tux, but he's not a new player in the sense of not seen into October starting. Surely.
No, but I suppose it's more that he's not had a pre-season like we don't know what his pre-season's been like, so. I think it would be a bit much to
35,000 feet, I think, isn't it? That's most of his pre-season speed. If you read the media.
But for me, I think it would be a bit too early just to kind of throw him in, because we don't know what his pre-season's been like.
Yeah.
But what I would say to Joe's comment is that Kieran McKenna doesn't always throw people in.
He does not.
I felt he threw Ogbene in at Birmingham, because he's not played a lot of football. So technically you're throwing him in.
That's options, though, isn't it? Who else are you going to throw in?
Yeah, exactly. That's a reason. But ultimately, from Ogbene's point of view, I suppose, or a fan's point of view, you could say, well, he's sort of throwing him in. And you kind of knew he was going to get substituted probably around the sort of the hour mark, because he hasn't got the legs for it yet. So, I mean,
the thing is, and Hamish says McKenna addressed these questions last night at the post-match press conference. Akpom and Karius both not much for pre-season, in particular Karius. I get that. No one. I don't think any of us on this show right now are sitting here saying Jens Karius should start, Akpom should start. I don't think any of us are saying that.
No.
What I'm saying is 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Is that a massive leap?
I think what we'll see is that, again, like the way these squads are in modern day football now is that you have to utilise your squad, and that's my point earlier, that we are looking a bit thin on the ground in terms of numbers and quality. But you'll see Akpom and Karius be on the bench against Southampton at the weekend, and they'll both probably come on any time after sort of 70 minutes, I would have thought. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Matt, I mean, is it a huge leap for you to think, okay, all right, even if they've had not a single minute of pre-season, considering how the season didn't end that long ago, etc., etc., would 10 minutes be a surely, or am I dreaming?
Well, I mean, sort of just seeing some of the comments there, and apparently Akpom was mentioned by McKenna in the presser last night. He said a very broken pre-season without any match minutes yet, and obviously a very disruptive week last week, to say the least. This makes me think, when do they feel like he's going to be ready to come into a season that started a little bit, well, in the supporters' side, certainly, in quite flat?
I don't know why he couldn't have got minutes last night, if I'm honest. Because I feel like it feels like at the moment, Akpom, Amari and Broadhead, we're at a point at the moment where we're kind of not letting them get away with things. I don't want to say that about a new sign that's just come in, but certainly for the latter two, we're making excuses for them. And it's almost like, look, if you want to play, play. If you don't. And obviously Amari doesn't want to play at the moment. But Akpom, surely he's chomping at the bit to play.
I imagine he is.
So I would have given him at least a half.
And he was pre-season tempo last night as well. So I mean, probably wouldn't have hurt. But it's just very interesting that the two players we've got, Martin. Sorry, the two players we've brought in, and everyone's quite excited about, haven't actually done a pre-season. So it's going to be as we are.
What's a pre-season? Coach only left in May.
Well, I mean, he's not been through the training regime. He's not had any match minutes.
Until he's done a bleep test, Matt.
The bleep test,
He ain't started, all right?
He's not the most reliable on the injury front either, is he? So, I mean, they have got to treat him with kid gloves.
Yeah.
This, to me, suggests they didn't get really the targets they wanted. Yeah. I don't think their A-list targets would have been players that have not had a pre-season. Yeah. They brought players in that was ready to hit the ground running. And neither Akpom or Kahuste, by the sounds of it, are ready to hit the ground running. But we're all seeing it as fans because everyone's like perceiving the season as a, no one liked the performance at Birmingham for whatever reason, even though we didn't lose, and no one liked the result. No one liked the result last night. Yeah, but they ain't going to come in and change it Sunday. I can't see it.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I feel like that certainly Akpom turned into more of a, dare I say it, panic signing. I think it's a decent signing. I like him. I think he's a very good, backup to Hurst. But were we really in for him? Was he one of our main targets? I don't think so.
It's probably that Gouet, wasn't it? He's
I feel like Kayust, if that was a real number one target, that could have got done a lot earlier.
They wanted Hackney. That's what I'm saying. These are not the A options, are they?
Yeah. Well, no, and I wouldn't say a panic because of how long is left in the window. There's still some time, and we're not approaching sort of deadline day. Grab what you can while you can to stock up until January. But it's just interesting, you think about how good modern players are at looking after themselves. It's all you hear in the modern press is how good they are. And I'm thinking, can we not just, because as Matt said, I think fans need a shot in the arm. I think fans need to see somebody new, even if they parade them around the pitch at half time. Like, just give, because I think, it's still only August, still plenty of early days. But you've lost to Bromley, you've got a point at Birmingham. The last time we saw Town win at home feels like a long time ago.
Last year in the league.
Yeah, but when last year? Like, honestly, that's not me being facetious. When last year?
It was the end of December, wasn't it, the Chelsea
end
game?
Of December. So just give us I think, as a collective, maybe a little jolt, little bit of positivity.
I don't know why he couldn't have played last night. I don't know why he couldn't have. It's either one of these two scenarios where he starts the game, plays 45 minutes, you take him off because obviously you want to rest him. You give him 45 minutes in the tank, or you give him from 70 minutes towards the end of the game. So I don't know why he couldn't have played last night unless there was some, benign reason. I don't know.
Well, I was going to say maybe they were just, keeping him back for, you never know, the weekend.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've got to look at it and you think, like, ultimately he is going to be Hurst's number 2, right? So
with his goal scoring record, you may even think eventually he might elbow Hurst out
possibly.
Be
But that's great competition, and you want that. You don't want Ali and Hurst because Ali's never going to be the main striker. So I welcome that, but it's almost that how is he going to get match fit if he isn't playing games? It's as simple as that, really, isn't it?
It very much is. Yeah,
doesn't have any other opportunities, does he? I mean, would he have done any worse than El Hamidi last night? Probably not. No. I mean, McKenna did say that he's got 2 sort of roles he thinks that Akpom can play, probably the 9, and he got all his goals in the 10 role, playing a little bit deeper for Borough, which is why I think now, even Sky started saying last night, Nathan Broadhead, even though he's ill, is going to be going to Wrexham, because I think that will allow Smodics to go out onto the left, or Clark or Philogene, whoever it's going to be on that left role. I think you could see Akpom. Well, if you've scored 30 goals pretty much from that role in a Borough team, you're going to play that in Kieran McKenna's team, I would say. And then they'll probably loan Al Hamidi out. Then you've got to find a third striker. We're going to do the whole season on Akpom and Hurst, are we? Given Hurst his injury record.
Yeah. And you got to believe, obviously, McKenna, one of his best friends, or one of his friends in football, Michael Carrick. He's picked up the phone several times and said, give me the lowdown, give me the ins, give me the outs. How do you get the best of him, etc., etc. So that is an exciting signing. One sign I'm really quite excited about, because, as I said, when we signed him on the quick reaction video I did, if you get half the number of goals he got for Borough, he got a ridiculous amount in that season that earned him a move away. Even if you get half, that's 14, 15 goals. You know, and you need collectively 14, 15, 7 or 8, which is why I'm upset about Broadhead potentially leaving, because I do think the year we were promoted, was he get 13 goals? Okay, off the bench, let's half those, 7 goals, 6, 7, 8 goals. They're important goals, because they all add up when you're a team that wants to get promotion, because goals are what's going to get you out of this division. And Womble says the championship is a scrap and long roller coaster ride. I think we want to see the embers of the play that got us up as soon as possible.